There will come a moment in your life when someone you trusted, someone you let close enough to touch your heart, will hurt you. And when that person is a woman you cared for deeply, the pain can feel sharper, heavier, because you believe she would protect, not wound. But here's the truth. How you handle that pain will define the kind of man you become. 1. Don't let the wound become your identity. When someone wounds you, it's tempting to wear that pain like a badge. You replay the moment again and again. Her words, her actions, her silence, it consumes you. And before you know it, the wound becomes the story you tell about yourself. But here's the danger. Pain can trick you into thinking it defines you. You begin to believe you are the man who was betrayed, the man who wasn't enough, the man who was left behind. That identity is poison. If you let it settle into your bones, you will carry it everywhere, and it will shape every decision you make. You must separate what happened from who you are. Yes, she hurt you. Yes, she may have disrespected your trust. But that is a reflection of her choices, not your value. Don't hand over your self-worth because of her behavior. Your identity should not be the wound. It should be the resilience. It should be the strength it took to get back up, the discipline to not let bitterness carve scars into your future. A man who allows his pain to define him becomes smaller, but a man who recognizes the wound, acknowledges it, and refuses to let it consume his essence, he becomes untouchable. So hear this clearly, you are not the betrayal, not the heartbreak, not the rejection. You are the man who walks forward despite it. And when you stop carrying the wound as your identity, you start carrying it as wisdom. That is where true power begins. 2. Respond, don't react. When the sting of betrayal cuts deep, your instincts will scream for reaction. Maybe it's shouting, maybe it's slamming doors, maybe it's firing off words you can't take back. That's reaction. It's emotional, it's impulsive, and it's exactly what leaves you vulnerable. Understand this. Anyone can react. That takes no strength. Reaction is handing over your control, letting her dictate your moves even after she's hurt you. But to respond, that's discipline. That's power. Responding means you pause, you breathe, you process, you refuse to be a puppet to your own anger. Consider this. If she betrayed you, hurt you, or lied to you, she has already shown you who she is. Why let that dictate who you become in return? If you explode in rage, if you lower yourself to revenge, you've just let her pull you off balance. That is not strength, it's surrender. A true response is measured, intentional. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Sometimes it's walking away. Sometimes it's drawing a line so clear and so firm that no one dares cross it again. But every response should come from a place of control, not chaos. When you react, the pain owns you. When you respond, you own the pain. That's the difference between being ruled by emotions and ruling over them. So train yourself to delay. Train yourself to analyze. Train yourself to move like a strategist, not a victim. Because a man who responds instead of reacts can never be manipulated. He becomes untouchable, not because life didn't hurt him, but because he refused to give the pain the final word. 3. Protect your standards. There's a temptation when hurt enters the picture to lower your standards just to keep her, to excuse the behavior, to bend your own boundaries so you don't lose the relationship. But listen carefully. If you let someone's betrayal redefine your standards, you've already lost more than the relationship. You've lost your self-respect. Your standards are not up for negotiation. They are the non-negotiables that tell the world how you expect to be treated. They are the invisible shield that protects your dignity. And if a woman disrespects you, if she lies, manipulates, cheats, or belittles, you must recognize that as a direct violation of your values. This doesn't mean you close your heart forever, or become cynical. It means you enforce the price of admission into your life. If she cannot treat you with respect, kindness, and loyalty, then she does not deserve a seat at your table, period. Think of standards as the walls of a fortress. If you lower them for the wrong person, you invite destruction. If you hold them firm, you filter out the weak, the disloyal, and the unworthy. And the people who remain, the ones who rise to meet your standards, those are the ones who bring peace and strength to your life. Never confuse standards with pride. Pride is arrogance. Standards are protection. They are the line that says, I will not let anyone disrespect me, and I will not disrespect myself. By accepting less, protect your standards with unwavering resolve, because the day you compromise them is the day you compromise your future. And a man who guards his standards never fears being alone, because he knows that solitude with integrity is better than company with betrayal. 4. Turn the pain into fuel. Pain is heavy. It sits in your chest, slows your breathing, weighs down your shoulders. But pain is also energy. You decide whether it becomes dead weight or fuel. Some men let heartbreak paralyze them. They stop working on themselves, stop chasing their goals, drown in distractions to numb the ache. They let one woman's betrayal rob them of their future. That is weakness disguised as coping. But the man who chooses differently, the man who takes that same pain and channels it into growth, he becomes unstoppable. Take the energy of betrayal and pour it into your fitness, your career, your craft. Let it drive you to sharpen your skills, expand your mind, deepen your discipline. Let every drop of hurt remind you that you will never again allow yourself to be so vulnerable. Without strength, pain can build you like weights in a gym. Every rep hurts, but every rep makes you stronger. Betrayal is the same. If you carry it with bitterness, it crushes you. If you carry it with purpose, it forges you. So when she hurts you, don't waste the energy screaming or seeking revenge. Invest it, transmute it, build something with it, because in time the same pain that nearly broke you will become the reason you are unshakable. And when people ask where your strength came from, you will remember the moment you decided to turn hurt into fuel instead of chains. 5. Forgive, but don't forget forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is not saying what she did was acceptable. Forgiveness is cutting the rope that ties you to her betrayal. It is saying you no longer control my emotions, my peace or my future. When you hold on to anger, it becomes a cage. You think you're punishing her, but really you're punishing yourself. She goes on with her life, while you remain chained to the memory. Forgiveness is how you unlock the door and step free. But forgetting, that's something else. Forgetting means erasing the lesson, and that is dangerous, because if you erase it, you're destined to repeat it. Forgive her, yes, because you need peace, but never forget the patterns, the signs, the choices that led to the hurt. That memory becomes your armor. Forgiveness is an act of self-respect. You do it for your own liberation, not for her. But remembering is your strategy. It's how you protect your heart in the future. So forgive, but don't forget. Release the pain, keep the wisdom, and let the two coexist. A free heart that carries lessons without carrying bitterness. That is how you move forward, without repeating the same cycle. So how do you handle a woman who hurts you? You don't collapse. You don't retaliate blindly. You don't compromise your worth. You rise. You hold the line of your standards. You channel the pain into strength. And you forgive, not because she deserves it, but because you do. Because the true measure of a man is not in how he is treated, but in how he handles it when he is treated poorly.